dear children. Come closer. Come and sit with Baba. Tonight, I have a wonderful Bible story to share with you. This story is about a brave prophet named Elijah, and a miracle so powerful that everyone who saw it was amazed. It is the story of fire from heaven, real fire, sent by the living God himself. Now listen carefully, children, because this happened a very long time ago in the land of Israel. There lived a prophet named Elijah. He loved God with all his heart and faithfully obeyed everything God asked him to do. Elijah trusted God every day. When God spoke, Elijah listened. When God commanded, Elijah obeyed. But sadly, many people in Israel had stopped worshiping the true God who created heaven and earth. They began worshiping a false god called Baal. They believed Baal could help them, but Baal was only an idol. And children, idols cannot hear, idols cannot speak, idols cannot help anyone at all. At that time, Israel was ruled by King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who encouraged the people to worship Baal. Little by little, many people forgot God's commandments and turned away from him. But Elijah remained faithful. Even when others turned away, he continued to trust the Lord. One day, God gave Elijah an important mission. It was time to show everyone who the true God really was. Elijah sent a message to King Ahab, calling all Israel to gather at Mount Carmel. Thousands of people traveled to the mountain. They wanted to see what would happen. The prophets of Baal came too. Soon, the mountain was filled with people watching and waiting. Then Elijah stood before the crowd and spoke with courage. How long will you keep changing sides? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. The people stood quietly. No one answered. The mountain became very still. Then Elijah suggested a challenge that would reveal the truth once and for all. 2 bulls would be prepared, 1 sacrifice for Baal's prophets and 1 sacrifice for Elijah. They would place the sacrifices on altars, but no one would light the fire. Not Elijah. Not the prophets of Baal. No one at all. Instead, they would pray. And whichever God answered by sending fire from heaven would be proven to be the true God. The people liked the idea and agreed to the challenge immediately. The prophets of Baal prepared their altar and carefully arranged their sacrifice. Then they began calling out loudly, "Baal, answer us! Baal, hear our prayers!" They prayed all morning long. They shouted and shouted, hoping Baal would answer. There was no fire, no voice, no answer at all. The sun climbed higher and higher into the sky, but the altar remained cold and unchanged. Elijah watched quietly for a while. Then he said something that surprised everyone. "Maybe your God is busy," Elijah said. "Maybe he is sleeping. Perhaps you should shout louder." Well, the prophets did exactly that. They shouted even louder than before. They cried out. They danced. They called upon Baal again and again and again. Hours passed. The crowd watched carefully. Everyone waited for something to happen. But there was still no answer, no voice, no fire, nothing at all. Children, Baal could not answer because Baal was not a real God. Only the Lord is truly God. Finally, it was Elijah's turn. The crowd became quiet as every eye turned towards him. Elijah began by repairing an old altar that had once been dedicated to the Lord. He carefully chose 12 stones, 1 stone for each tribe of Israel. Those stones reminded the people that they belonged to God's covenant family. After rebuilding the altar, Elijah arranged the wood and carefully placed the sacrifice on top. But then Elijah did something that nobody expected. He told the people, "Bring water and pour it over the altar." The people obeyed.
It's impossible.
Water soaked the sacrifice, the wood, and the stones. Then Elijah said, "Do it again." More water was poured over everything. And then Elijah said, "Do it a third time." Even more water flowed across the altar. By now, everything was soaking wet. Even the trench around the altar was filled with water. Everyone knew that no ordinary fire could possibly burn such a drenched altar. Now everything was ready. The altar stood before the people, dripping with water from top to bottom. The prophets of Baal had failed. Now all eyes were fixed on Elijah. Elijah stepped closer to the altar and lifted his heart to God.
Answer me, O Lord.
He did not shout. He did not dance. He simply prayed with faith. Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you are the true God. For a moment, the entire mountain became silent. The wind seemed to pause. The crowd held its breath. Something incredible happened. Suddenly, fire came down from heaven. The fire struck the altar with tremendous power and blazing brightness. It burned the sacrifice. It burned the wood. It burned everything upon the altar. The fire even consumed the stones and dried up all the water in the trench. Everyone knew at that moment that this was no ordinary fire. This was the power of the living God. When the people saw the miracle, they were overwhelmed with awe. They fell down on the ground before the Lord. And they cried out together, "The Lord, He is God."
The Lord, He is God.
At last, the people understood the truth they had forgotten. Their hearts began turning back to the God who loved them.
Elijah's mission was successful because God had revealed His power for everyone to see. But children, there was something else happening in Israel. For a long time, there had been no rain. The land was dry. Crops struggled to grow, and people desperately needed rain.
O Lord,
After the miracle,
hear
Elijah
our cry.
went to pray once again and asked God to send rain. At first, the sky looked empty. There were no clouds to be seen. But soon, a tiny cloud appeared in the distance, no bigger than a man's hand. That little cloud grew larger and larger until the sky became dark with clouds. And then the rain came pouring down across the land of Israel. My dear children, what can we learn from Elijah today? We learn that there is only one true God, and He alone deserves our worship.
We learn that God hears prayers, even simple prayers spoken from a faithful heart.
We learn that one courageous person can make a big difference. Elijah stood for what was right, even when many others chose the wrong path. So when you feel alone, remember Elijah. When you need courage, remember Elijah. When you pray, remember that God listens. And remember that the God who answered Elijah is still powerful today. So tell me, my dear children, will you trust the one true God? Baba believes you will. Thank you for listening, my dear children. Come again for another Bible story time with Baba. Good night, sleep well, and may God bless you always.